off the mountain. Row 7, welcome to the mountain, Jameis. He deserves it.
Yeah,
Tua will climb the mountain, I'm confident, but right now, first game back, he's on the mountain. Aaron Rodgers drops. This is, I think, second time ever he's been a bottom row guy. Hard to argue anywhere else. Drake May, man, if we had a mountain committee, we would have convened to figure out, does May fall off the mountain because he knocked out of the game, and then Brissett came and played better. He stays where he is. Bo Nix is playing fine. Like, the numbers are actually good. I think the eye test is fine. And I put Malik Willis on there because he saved the Packers again.
Yeah.
Three
times. He's been excellent. So shout out to Malik Willis, and classic 3 by me, mocking the Packers for not having a better backup plan at quarterback when it turns out they have a great backup plan at quarterback. He's been great. Row 6, Russell Wilson. No one thought, not even Brew, he'd be moving up the mountain, but he is. Look at who he's alongside. 3 of my favorites. Caleb has to drop because 30 yards through 3 quarters, not great, even though he had 2 separate game-winning touchdown drives. It's fine. Geno drops as well. They had some real red zone troubles. That Bills game, if you weren't watching it, they have the ball inside the 5. Snap goes overhead. They settle for a field goal. They have it inside the 5 again. They get 0 points. Disaster. And Dak obviously played really poorly. Sam Darnold, I don't put this last loss on him, even though a little pumpkin watch. And Trevor Lawrence played well, but the team's 2-6. He stays where he is. Row 5. Baker drops because listen, he is still slinging it and he doesn't have his weapons, but the turnovers the last few weeks have been problematic. Jordan Love's got to drop because a guy got hurt again. Like there's now multiple times this season he's had to leave a game with injury. Malik came in and did well. Kyler, Cousins, and Purdy, kind of 3 horses of a different color. Similar, in my opinion, caliber quarterbacks, the 3 of them, even though they all play stylistically incredibly differently, but they all move up after very solid performances by all 3 of them this week. And now to the top 10. Jared Goff drops. Now you might say that's outrageous. They scored 50 points. How many passing yards, KW, do you think he had?
How many does he need?
How many passing yards do you think he had? Just give it a guess. Throw a number. They scored 52 points.
I think it's going to be similar to when Josh Allen beat up on Trevor Lawrence and had like 185 passing yards.
You nailed it. Except you said 100 first, because it's 85. He had 85 passing yards, scored 52 points. I don't care. He had 85 passing yards.
He had 2 touchdowns and 28 passing yards.
He had 85 passing yards.
Hold on,
what did you just say?
Position players.
I'm with you on this, Wilds.
Okay,
come on. He's
about wins, W's.
Hey, guys, he didn't need to do it. It's not about wins. And when you see the 6 guys ahead of him, you guys just tell me who Goff should move ahead of. Justin Herbert played awesome this week and moves up. Joe Burrow stays where he is. I know Wilds
why does he stay there?
What do you
mean? How
many
points did they score?
17. But okay,
got drilled.
But I don't have him.
Lost the Super Bowl years ago.
I don't have him ahead of Goff.
Hurts.
They're on the same row.
Right. Jaylen Herz just beat him.
It is not left to right. Jaylen Herz moves up. Now to the top 6 guys. You tell me which of these 6 you want Goff ahead of. Jaden, your guy? You're trying to steal him from Brew. You can't say ahead of Jaden. Threw a Hail Mary, won a game. Matt Stafford finally got some guys healthy out here cooking. I know it was on Thursday night. Everybody forgot about it. The Rams are right there. And then C.J. Stroud, again, his receivers are dropping, man.
Yeah.
We found out today Diggs torn ACL. That's devastating for him, by the way. Remember they ripped his contract up as a free agent?
Yeah.
Nico Collins not back yet. Row 2 stays the exact same. Lamar and Josh Allen right there.
They flipped, though, right?
Not left
it's
to right.
not left to right.
No.
I know, but why'd they flip?
Random.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I don't think it's random.
I send the list in, and then the producers decide left to right. I just tell them tier, so I got nothing to do with it. And then atop the mountain is the most criticized quarterback in the league, given the fact that he hasn't lost a game since Christmas. He's the best fourth quarter quarterback in the league.
Wins and losses,
every week he does a different thing that's just awesome. Patrick Mahomes.
Nick literally just said a minute ago, it's not just about wins and losses, not just about wins and losses, which is why Goff dropped. Okay, though, so that doesn't make any sense. Goff obviously does not deserve to be dropped. No question about it. Stop. Okay? Also, Bo Nix should not be below Caleb at this point. And Bo Nix should have risen. Like, what are we talking about? We raised Caleb Williams for his wins against the Jags and the Panthers and all these other teams. So why does it not help Bo Nix, considering what Bo Nix was able to do? Okay? Week 8, Bo Nix was the 3rd best quarterback according to PFF with an 87.2 ranking. Okay? 75.7% completion percentage, 285 yards. 28 for 37 and 3 touchdowns. Okay? And we're going to act like that's nothing? That he doesn't deserve to go up for that? I mean, like, what? It just doesn't make sense. Because, again, we praise all these other quarterbacks, like whether it be Jayden Daniels or Caleb Williams, when they play bad teams. And look, this is what Caleb did. Okay? He's all the way down to 27. He's right next to Anthony Richardson, which is a tough place to be at, 57.7. Okay? So, no, that just does not make sense. Caleb Williams absolutely, positively, undeniably, or Bo Nix, I forget what I said, needs to absolutely, positively go up. And I think at this point, Bo Nix and Caleb could be on the same ranking, but Jayden Daniels definitely needs to be elevated. It's so hard to know what to do with Stafford, because I do think Stafford is still elite and undeniably great, but since so much of this season has been plagued by injuries, it's like hard to put him, because now that he finally does have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and stuff, like he immediately does get to kind of skyrocket to the top. But yeah, no, Hertz definitely obviously deserving to move up as well, considering what he's been doing. I guess like at the end of the day, if I'm looking at this top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, from the Goff, Herbert, Burrow, Hertz, and up, I think it's not the worst group of 10 in terms of like what order it should be in. I don't know, because again, if we're talking about a rich tapestry and we're talking about previous wins and moments, then like Hertz should be elevated. So should Goff, right? Like it's a tougher place to be in. But also obviously what Jayden Daniels is doing has been so special. I got this graphic up. This is what Jayden Daniels is doing right now. Jayden Daniels is the second QB all time with 70% completion percentage, 200 passing yards, and 50 rushing yards per game over an 8-game span. Over an 8-game span. It's not even the first 8 games. For him, it's his first 8 games, but over an 8-game span. And the only other to ever do it was none other than the great Lamar Jackson in his 2023 MVP season. Just wild. Absolutely wild. He's been balling. And again, to also highlight Hertz a little bit more for a second, since Nick is so obsessed with the whole wins-losses, well then, this is what Jaylen Hertz has been doing. Okay, the Eagles have the second best road winning percentage, second to only the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, right? They're 21-7, and the Chiefs are the Eagles are 21-9, and the Chiefs are 21-7. The Eagles are also 13-1 in last 14 games versus the AFC, right? The Eagles have the highest interconference winning percentage in the NFC under Nick Sirianni, which again is synonymous with Jaylen Hertz. So again, if we're going to keep playing all of these wins, losses, well then Hertz deserves, true respect. But it is interesting to see Hertz now above Baker Mayfield, above Dak Prescott, above Caleb. Like, that was definitely not something that Nick wanted to do. So kudos to him for him actually doing it, because I could have seen Hertz. I could have seen him still have Hertz, on this level. It is tough to drop Love down. I don't know if Jordan Love deserves to necessarily be dropped down. If you want to drop him down because he's now had 2 injuries this season, and now you're going to be like, well, hey, he's getting injured, I'm open to that. But I told you guys before that Nick definitely is not high on Jordan Love. He is most definitely not. So he's kind of looking for reasons. I know he threw an interception, but the dude had like 200 yards and only played 1/2, and played really well and had some beautiful passes. So if you're just looking at the stats, one, you'll be confused, but still be impressed. And if you actually just watch the games and how Jordan Love plays, to put him down below is just not seeing it at all, right? You're not going to look at Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield on the same level. And I'll be honest, yeah, Baker Mayfield's turnovers are without a doubt a problem, which don't necessarily coincide with injuries because they're just fundamentally bad throws. But I have been impressed with Baker's resilience and still kind of putting his team at least in a position to fight for wins despite having really bad injuries. And that's what I always talk about, that I'm not always expecting you to be able to win when you have injuries, right? Or even expecting you to play great. But are you still pulling your team down? And that was always my criticism to Dak. We can complain and say, well, Dak's dealing with some injuries and this, that, and the third. But when you look at what Baker Mayfield has been able to do with the Buccaneers versus what Dak has been able to do with the Cowboys, it's night and day. So I do think that Baker belongs above Dak as well. I don't think Sam Darnold needed to stay. I think Sam Darnold should also be elevated along with Purdy, should be, up there as well, because Sam Darnold had nothing to do with that loss. Was not his fault. I think he played really, really, really well. And yeah, I mean, I guess at the minimum, it's good that he didn't move down, but like he was not the problem at all. He made some beautiful throws. And yeah, it was just really the fact that Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay are going to be elite together. They are going to be an elite group of guys that are going to be able to just be deadly, quite frankly. We were able to see that at the second half of last season, and we were going to see that this season, but unfortunately there were just all those injuries. But make no mistake about it, that's ultimately what led to the Vikings' loss more than anything else, and certainly not Sam Darnold. But also the way how Russ is playing. Again, Russ does not deserve to be on the level of Trevor Lawrence or Dak Prescott, Geno, or Caleb, right? Like, he doesn't. He's been playing beautifully these last two games. He has. I just made a whole video all about it. I mean, he's been playing awesome and shows such command of the offense that Caleb does not show, that Geno, unfortunately, does not show, that Darnold doesn't show, and Lawrence doesn't show, and honestly, even Dak. I think Dak actually does show pretty decent command of the offense, and I'm not saying that he's always successful, but at least you know that he's controlling that offense and running it and calling plays at the line, audibling, and just really controlling the line of scrimmage at that point. But when you see Russ do it, the level of confidence that I have in just at least that aspect of the game, right? It just in everything that's happening up here, I'm trusting Russ over Caleb, over Geno, over Dak, over Darnold, over Lawrence. That's why it's hard for me to then put Russ in that category. Even if at this point Dak throws a better ball, Caleb is more mobile, right? Like, even if those things are true, it's just what Russ has been able to do for his team, to me, is more substantial than, say, what some of those other guys have done. But let's see what Brew has to say.
That's the latest edition of Mahomes Mountain Brew. Go ahead.
Well, Nick, look, I'm going to give you some respect.
Thank you.
Because usually the mountain is littered with bias.
Yeah.
But you dropping Caleb, you dropping Geno, like, those are your guys.
Yes.
And you dropped them, so I'll give you some credit.
And I elevated your guy, Purdy.
You elevated a little bit, yeah.
Elevated Russ.
So I'll give you some respect for that. But Hertz is a guy I like. Too high, though.
Too high?
Yeah, he's too high. He's too high. He's gotten... I would have Baker, J-Lo, Jordan Love, for those not in the know, and Brock Purdy ahead of Jaylen Herz. Jaylen Herz, I know in the last 3 games, 9 touchdowns, 0 picks, right? Great.
Yeah.
But 5 of those touchdowns are rushing touchdowns. 4 of those are from the 1-yard line.
Yeah,
so it's 5 touchdowns outside of those 1-yard tush pushes that a lot of guys could do. All right, he didn't. Now Nick's always
not a lot of guys. No one does it.
Exactly. Not a lot of guys can do it. What are you talking about? Not a lot of guys can do it. That is absolute nonsense. Stop with it. If all these guys can do it, then they would do it. Okay? If you invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook. So just stop with it. That is such nonsense. What has Jaylen Herz done? 3 straight games with a rating of 119 or more. 9 total touchdowns, 0 turnovers. 4 straight games with no turnovers. He now has the record for most all-time of 14 games with at least 2+ rushing touchdowns. We're going to use that against Jaylen Herz? That makes no sense. He was 16 for 20, 236 yards, 11.8 yards per attempt, 1 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, and a 132.5 rating, and he was 10 carries for 37 rushing, okay? And 6 for 11 on third down, greater than 50%, which is huge. So stop it. Stop with the madness. Stop with the nonsense. And made beautiful throws. That dime that he threw to Devontae Smith for that touchdown, that 50-yard perfect strike, 3 plays, 70 yards. Stop it. Stop with the nonsense. Okay, on the road, led 3 straight touchdowns to stun the crowd and stun the Bengals. Stop it. That's madness. And like I already said earlier, look what he's been doing. Look what he's been doing. And you want to move him down? Get out of here. And I'm not even trying to act like I think Jaylen Herz is the greatest quarterback ever, that he's a top 2 quarterback. I'm not trying to say that. But you're going to put Baker Mayfield above him right now? Stop it. Just stop with that nonsense. That makes 0 sense. 0, 0. Let me say it one more time. 0.
Nick's always ripping Purdy for not having the Avengers, and Jaylen Herz did not look great without A.J. Brown. Now A.J. Brown's back, and he's looking good with Brown.
Yeah,
so
I like
Hurts
Hurts too, but he doesn't play
playing well. I'm just saying those 3 guys that I named, Baker, J-Lo, and Purdy, I would put them ahead of Hurts. I think they're playing better. Right. They throw the ball much better.
The J-Lo thing is confusing our new staff.
Jordan Love. It just makes perfect sense.
People are like,
again, let's also look at what Hurts did, right? I mean, this idea that Hurts somehow I think I got to do it this way. There we go. Jaylen Herz was the 4th ranked best quarterback this past week, okay? 89 offense, 80 passing, 83 run. Like, even if we just do passing, since I guess Jaylen Herz is just a terrible thrower of the ball, right? Apparently, according to that, he's still top 10. He's above Minshew, above Stroud, Wilson, Winston, Rodgers, Smith, Jordan Love, right? Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, all the way down here, just for passing, okay? So, I mean, just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just crazy that Jaylen Herz is going to be punished because he can use his legs, because he can muscle up and score touchdowns. Like, it's easy. It's so easy. Go have all these other quarterbacks do it. Go do it. If it's so easy. Tell me why they fail and tell me why the Eagles have the best success rate. And don't tell me, oh, their offensive line, because I thought their offensive line wasn't that good. I thought it all came down to Jason Kelce. I thought he was the main piece as to why it happened. He doesn't have Jason Kelce. And yesterday, or on Sunday, he was down 2 starting linemen again. So which is it? Are we going to give everyone credit but Jaylen Herz? Nah, man. No way. No way.
J-Lo.
All right, so I want to be careful here, because the only time Bruce ever truly gotten mad at me on the air was when he misunderstood what I was saying and thought I was questioning his integrity. I'm not questioning your integrity here, Brew. However, I do think you're including Baker Mayfield on the guys who should move up, just so it's not once again you saying Brock Purdy should move up.
I said J-Lo too.
That's what you just
J-Lo
really,
too.
and you said that just because you wanted to really drive home this J-Lo nickname. Listen, I try to be fair. You guys know I'm not a big Jaylen Herz or Eagles believer,
Yeah.
but
No,
they're on a
this was an
3-game winning
unbiased
streak,
mountain. I will
and
give you
each
that.
week they're more impressive. The Cleveland game, they were bad, got away with it. The Giants are bad, but they were excellent. And this past week, they played a Bengals team that's sneaky good, and they rolled them.
Sneaky good.
KW?
A tricky spot here for me.
Why?
Because I told the producers I wanted to move Drake May up, but once I looked at it, I'm actually okay with him being where he is. But with a caveat, it's like when I go to Amazon and I'm not ready to buy something, but I just put it in the cart.
Save
just
for
let
later.
it sit there. Drake May is eventually going to move up, and I want to keep it. I just want to plant some seeds right now. Here's some good stats about Drake May. How's he doing this year? Turns out, fantastic. You were worried about Drake May. Nope. 162 snaps, 6 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Passer rating, solid. Look at the yards per rush. He's out here like Josh Allen. Looks out here with Derrick Henry type numbers. Arm strength, that's never been a strength of the Patriots since Tom Brady left.
Yeah. But for Drake May, it's
he
good.
can sling it though.
Yeah.
But can he run?
Yes, he can.
Did you know he was this fast?
I know that he scored like the 4th fastest quarterback touchdown ever the last
I didn't realize it. Yeah, he's running 20 miles an hour. As much as a slow car. So for those reasons, I just want you to think about moving Drake May up
can I just
when
say
he gets
something?
back in the game.
Can I just say something real quick?
20.33.
When you said in the meeting this morning, you're moving Drake May up, everyone audibly groaned because nobody wanted to talk about Drake May and nobody understood it because Drake May played like 6 snaps this week.
He ran 20.33 miles per hour.
Exactly, and I think he threw 4 passes and then got knocked out of the game. So it didn't make sense that he should move up. But all of us were like, well, he is a national treasure.
Where's Jacoby Brissett with his game-winning drive?
He is a national treasure, Kevin Wildes. I'm sure he'll spin a nice yarn about it. And then it was your time to do it, and you were like, upon second thought, I shouldn't have picked him. That's a bad job by you.
It's called planting a seed.
Okay.
It's called developing a take.
You know what?
Like how Drake May needs to be developed professionally. The take is going
Trees
to
don't grow on Mahomes Mountain. Time now for Willie Mays Mountain because we're...
Okay. Well, listen. It's definitely one of his better mountains, I think. Still, obviously, some issues that I pointed out. But one of his better mountains, but... still a little crazy. But you know, it's technically probably his least, as Bruce said it, not me, his least biased mountain, right? So you can disagree with some of his placements, but at least the disagreements feel more off of now just of how you're interpreting games or seasons and not just off of pure hopes and dreams and biases. So I tip my hat, Mr. Nick Wright. I do tip my hat. This is what we've all been asking for, right? This is what we've been looking for more, right? We can disagree, but we just like when things are a little bit less biased. But I do have a question. If you guys know, does anyone know when Brew got genuinely angry at Nick? I feel like I saw that clip, but I don't remember when he felt that his integrity was being questioned. I'd love to watch that clip just because I just want to see how that unfolded. Just because I think that is always interesting, because that's why I always try to highlight in these clips anytime I'm disagreeing with them, and even if we're pointing out a bias and stuff like that, it's never trying to challenge someone's integrity, right, in terms of how genuine they're being. So it's why, like, I can see why Brew would be upset about that, but I'm curious how that kind of back and forth unfolded. So if you guys have any idea or even know what the topic was about, I can try to find it as well. I would definitely love to check it out, and I would appreciate it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the quarterback mountain? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.